going on? I am live today on my walk. Decided I would take a quick break and share the stream of thoughts that I have while I'm walking in my neighborhood. So, the thing that came to me to talk about on this walk was the top 3 mistakes I think I made in 2023 and what my plans are so that you guys can hold me accountable so I don't make those mistakes again. And also, so that you can learn from my mistakes and don't have to spend a whole year thinking yourself into paralysis, which brings me to my first point. Analysis paralysis. Paralysis by analysis. I think I thought more last year than I've thought in all my years combined. My job was calling for critical thinking. That's all I do all day. And so I critically overthought. I thought about every possibility. I thought about everything that I could be doing and should be doing and I'm not doing. And I thought and thought and thought. And then I did a lot of research. There's a lot of hills in my neighborhood, so I may breathe a little heavy. I am out of shape, unless you consider round a shape. Also, I'll be bouncing around because I am ADHD. Attention diverted hyperactive Gregory. Yeah, that's the name I've come up with. It's not a disability. It's not a disorder. It's a superpower. Anyway, I found that thinking is not the way to do. I can think, but if I want the thinking to not paralyze me, I have to move immediately. And so I thought, I want to make a YouTube video going live, walking in my community. Because why not kill two birds with one stone? It's some content to help someone else, and it's accountability for me to go walking so that I can get out of the round shape and maybe get in the V shape again. So, overthinking. Quickest way to paralyze yourself. You can also get stuck in the research loop where I just need another degree. I just need a little more research. I just need to learn a little more. I need to be a little more prepared so that I can be more confident. Look, I can tell you everything the next YouTube video is going to tell me about confidence, selling, marketing, making YouTube videos, making courses, changing your thinking for law of attraction. I can tell you about it all. But if I'm not applying those principles, what does it matter? So that was the first mistake. Overthinking myself into a paralyzed state. It is a lot harder to break inertia than it is to keep momentum. So just getting myself in action is helping to build the momentum. And then I use that energy in momentum to keep going. So that was the first mistake. The second mistake, excuse me, was learning all about the law of attraction and how what we think manifests. Sometimes immediately, sometimes over time. It's coming to us either way, whether it's good or bad. So, like Henry Ford said, whether I think I can or I think I can't, either way I'm right. I'm not sure how I feel about that guy though, because he's responsible for this 40-hour work week that we can't get out of. So I'm on the fence about him saying it, but he's not the only one that said it. I think he's just the one that rephrased it. Basically, I only have room for one thought in my head at a time. And if my thoughts are feeding one of two wolves that live inside of me at all times, I have a good wolf and I have a bad wolf. Which one is going to survive? It's the wolf that I feed. And I fed the bad wolf, I'd probably say at least 60% of the time. I still succeeded. I still had things that I did that were better than I'd done previous years. I still progressed. I just didn't do it in a way that felt good or at a pace that is sustainable. It didn't feel good on the journey. So my example is, I thought of all the reasons why I couldn't do the things I was doing, or highlighted all the things in my life that were not going according to plan rather than being in a state of gratitude. When I say being in a state of gratitude, it's looking at what I have to be grateful for, looking at the positives in my life. Like, for example, I can be upset because I don't have the right camera for my recordings or the right microphone, which I do, but there's always going to be a better mic. There's always going to be a better camera. And then there's always going to be a learning curve on learning how to operate those things correctly. And I can be upset about that, or I can look at my creation station slash studio slash office and look at all of the opportunities I have to enjoy where I'm at on the way to where I'm going, to make do with what I have until I have something better, to make something with what I have, which is what I did from the beginning with music. I think I made the most music when I had the least equipment and the least convenient ways to make it. So there's no excuses, but that was the second mistake, was making excuses and believing them. So much so that I believed them. The third mistake was having awareness of what to do and not doing it. I'm a certified confidence coach. I'm a certified personal trainer. I've gone from 225, 230 to about 184, 176 in a matter of a year through teaching myself how to spark my metabolism, build muscle, and shed the fat. And I did that because I got obsessed with it. I was locked in. It was a no matter what kind of thing. I've taken my career from 30K to 4 or 5 times that in a matter of a few years and taught several people how to do the same. Yet, for some reason, I knew all the principles that needed to be in play to make these things happen and to scale and to go greater and get bigger and do more and do better. And I didn't do it. And I must say, I've lived with ambivalence before. When 2013, I had a child with a young lady. We were not great together. And it was a lesson all the way around for everyone involved. Everyone that touched our lives in that time either saw an example of what not to do or an example of what to do, depending on how you looked at the situation. With that whole time, I could make a story for why placing my son for adoption wouldn't work and why it would be better for him to stay with me and why I should fight. And on the other hand, I could make an argument for how he would bless that family if I was selfless and gave him. And you want to talk about knowing how, getting a glimpse of how Jesus felt giving his only son. That was the most painful thing I've ever had to do. But a guy at a 12-step meeting sat me down and said, what's happening right now is you're living with ambivalence. You have two stories in your head that they're both valid. Neither one is wrong. And it was easy in the beginning when I was getting clean and sober for simple decisions where it was like, do the right thing or do the wrong thing. That's easy. Cash register honesty, right? If they gave you too much change, give it back. But when neither option is wrong, that's where you actually have to make a decision. And the difference between a decision and a choice is a choice, kind of halfway dabble it in the water. I can kind of go back on that. I've just chosen, but I have not decided. Deciding being I've cut all other options off and this is the way. So making that decision and being at peace with it was the result. And I've had so many ideas for things I can do because I'm an idea factory. I'm an excellent starter, mediocre follow through, and what is finishing? So I've decided what I do best is talking and helping other people. It's what I do naturally. It's what just comes to me. I feel energized when I give solutions, ideas, reframes, mainly reframes. I hear something, I see how that could not work. I help to reframe for a better vision and outcome. And then as you talk, I can see a vision for your life. And I enjoy doing that. That lights me up inside. I can do that all day. But tying it all together, I overthink, I made excuses, and I believed my excuses. And then I had ambivalence because I knew that I could do online courses or I can do UX training and teach people how to break into UX, which I did once a month through the N3 Plus meetup, which the next one is happening on the 29th. So if you're in the DFW area and you are interested in leveling up or transitioning your career, particularly in UX or product, somewhere in the tech space, product space, our meetup is happening the 29th between 6:30 and 8:30 in Plano. DM me for details. Drop a comment. So overthought, made excuses, had ambivalence because there were two opposing sides that lived inside of me at the same time, and I could not make a decision. Do I write the book? Do I make the course? Do I personally train people? Do I make YouTube videos? Do I start the podcast again? Do I write blogs? Do I do affiliate marketing? Like, I could technically do them all, but I can't do them all at the same time. I have to pick one and go with it. So, please, if you got nothing else from this video, think, then act. Tell yourself a story that will help you to succeed, and for the love of God, make a decision, because it is a miserable place to be when you are constantly holding the menu, sitting at a table, starving to death, knowing that you can just pick something on that menu, eat it, and if you don't like it, the next meal, you can pick up that menu again and eat something else. A young lady told me a while back when I was having troubles with relationships and settling down, commitment issues, that she said, "Why do you think the waiter takes the menu away when you order your food?" And I thought, why do I take the menu away? Because I need to clean them? I was a waiter at the time, so it was a deeper question for me. But I kept overthinking it. I was like, well, I take the menu away because we don't want to leave the menus on the table. It doesn't make any sense unless it's hot and we don't have AC and then they can fan themselves, but we mainly need to clean them and use them for other customers. She's like, too deep. It's a lot simpler than that. And I thought, and she goes, because you've made your decision. I was like, oh. And then it hit me. I was getting into relationships. I was ordering, but I was keeping the menu. I was keeping it open just in case there was something else better, something else I wanted. But when she said that, it made me close the menu and give it back to the waiter. And so that metaphor came up just now as I'm talking to you because I still got the menu open. Got a lot of options on what I can do to provide value and serve the world on a higher level. And it's time to pick the main course, or maybe just the appetizer. We'll start with an appetizer. Let's start with the appetizer. And while I'm chewing on this one, maybe, just maybe, I'll make a decision on the main course. This actually felt really good. So I'm glad if you tuned in live. I can't see if you're tuning in live, but if you tuned in live, I appreciate you for watching me and listening to my rant on this walk. I'll recap real quick. Top 3 things I learned in 2023 that I don't want to repeat in 2024 and hope that you learn from. Analysis paralysis. Don't do that. Think, act. Tell yourself a story that helps you to succeed. Feed the good wolf. Think the good thoughts that help you to get the things that you want, that help you to see the world in the light where you can succeed and the people around you can succeed. And last but not least, living with ambivalence is miserable. So if you have two options, make a decision and be at peace with it until the next time it comes time to make a decision again. That's really all I have for you today. I appreciate, again, you tuning in and hope that this has gave you some value. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so that I can continue to grow my channel, continue to go live for you on my walks. I'm currently 226 pounds on that scale, fully clothed. I want to walk with you and talk with you and give you as much value as I can until I'm at least 180. We'll say 180. So I hope that you can walk with me on this 46-pound shedding of weight. And with that, have a fantastic whatever day it is for you when you're watching this. Until the next time, be bold, be courageous, but most importantly, be you. Peace.